I'm going to talk about the classic Army M24 LTR. They claim that it is VSR-10 compatible. It's not. Certain parts are, certain parts are not. So let's get started. I'll start with the mags. Obviously the magazines are different. That's not the bad part about them. The VSR-10 mags feed great and they lock the BBs in really good. These mags do not. I've loaded these magazines, all three of them. I bought three, or two more plus the one that came with the gun. I've loaded these, I've set them down, and they've just launched the BBs everywhere. I've tried pushing the BBs down in here farther with like an Allen wrench or something to lock it in better. Still can't get them to lock in really well, so I feel like every time I put this in my pocket in a game, I'm going to pull it out, and then there's just going to be BBs everywhere. Alright, next thing. Hop-up units. Alright. It will take barrels, and it will take hop-up buckings, but it will not take hop-up units. Reason for that. Here is an Action Army chamber for VSR-10, and here's my VSR-10 barrel. This thing's been through the ringer. Tried a top dead center mod on it a long time ago. Haven't painted over it yet. Okay, Action Army chamber fits, and all the holes line up like they're supposed to. Alright. Classic Army M24 LTR barrel. Action Army was just in the other barrel. Does not fit. This hop-up chamber, along with all of the other ones, including the PDI and the stock VSR-10s, will be too big to fit in the Classic Army LTR barrel. This one has been shrunk down to fit inside that barrel. And as long as you're not planning on changing this to an aftermarket one, then you should be all set to buy the rifle. But remember, this is what you're stuck with permanently. The hop-up arms in here, you cannot change them. This is a DangerWorks one. The hole right here that fits over the post in here, the post is too small in diameter. So this just has a lot of play and is really sloppy in there. Whereas the stock one is the only one that fits that post. To get around that, I've shimmed this with AEG gearbox shims so that there's no movement left or right with this. And I've taken a the hop-up arm in here has the same kind of feature here, how it's a double prong. I've taken a Prometheus flat hop nub, and I've butchered it to fit between these two, so it almost gives it a flat hop kind of thing, but it also gives it a little bit of a give in the middle so that it's a almost like a U shape. And then I put a Autobot maple leaf in here. I'm not a fan of these. I'll make a review on these later, but so far it's been shooting okay. Alright, next thing. I gotta go quick because I'm on my smartphone. It doesn't like making videos. Alright. Cylinder heads. They look almost the same, except for the fact that the brass one, it's hard to tell. The brass one is longer than the stock Classic Army one. Internals on the Classic Army are nice. You have a good spring guide, and you have a really nice piston in here. They're 90 degree, and they're good components, but the problem is this will not work in a standard VSR-10 hop-up chamber, and this will not work in the Classic Army hop-up chamber. So if you were to go out and buy an aftermarket cylinder head, it won't. I don't think it will work with this. I don't have any aftermarket ones to test, but if the aftermarket ones are the same dimensions as a stock VSR-10 one, these ones are too long. What's going to happen is this bottoms out into the hop-up chamber before you're able to close the bolt handle. So you'll slide it in. Let's see if I can get it to show you. This is the Classic Army receiver. You'll slide it in, and you'll get to about, let's see, you'll get to about here, and then you won't be able to lock this down anymore. It'll stay exactly where it is, and you won't be able to fire the rifle with aftermarket cylinder heads. Internals are nice, like I said. Also, this bolt handle will not work on a VSR-10 cylinder. The backings are different, and the way it fits on there is different, and the positioning of where it locks and unlocks is different. Last but not least, we're going to talk about trigger boxes. See if I can line these up. Trigger boxes are not the same. The Classic Army one is longer than the VSR-10 one, which means you cannot use any VSR-10 aftermarket trigger boxes. The holes are drilled in completely different spots. So if I was to put this is a Classic Army receiver with the VSR-10 trigger sears and trigger box. You look, back hole lines up, front hole is completely off. So you won't be able to use any of the Zero triggers. You won't be able to use any of the Action Army triggers or Airsoft Pro trigger. Won't be able to use any of that stuff with this rifle. Out of the box, this rifle shoots nice. It's good, but if you want to do upgrades, VSR-10 upgrades, you're not going to be able to with this. Not until somebody comes out with M24 LTR compatible parts. You're just not going to be able to. Like I said, that's all I've gotten so far. I can't think of anything else that's not compatible. Oh yeah, when you put the chamber in, the mounting screws are completely different. So the hop-up unit, the mounting screws are down here. On the Action Army, the mounting screws are here because they have to abide with the block, this block right here that fits between the barrel and the receiver. Other than those things, again, sorry, receiver doesn't have any of the Delrin rings in there, so your cylinder is literally riding on the inside of this receiver. It has no plastic to ride up against it, so it's metal on metal. It can be a little stiff, and it can be a little much to pull back. It'll break in eventually, but until it breaks in, it's going to be a little bit stiff. Mine was for a while until I got about 5 or 6 magazines through it and it loosened up. Again, other than that, that's all I have right now on the Classic Army LTR. It is not 100% VSR-10 compatible. Certain parts work, certain parts don't. But the major parts, your triggers, your hop-up chamber, those will not work, which is quite upsetting. So thanks for watching my video. I appreciate it, and I hope this helps some people out in determining if they want to buy it or if they don't. And until next time, thanks.